So what happens if you're buying a house and it's not appraising for the purchase price? Now what do you do? Hi everyone, it's Amy.Salera with Keller Realty in Pittsburgh. So what happens if you have a house under contract, you want to purchase it, but the appraisal comes in and it doesn't appraise for the purchase price? Then what do you do? So in case you missed my last video, I explained that the home appraisal is a valuation of how much the house is worth. And whenever the appraiser, who is a licensed professional, goes into the house, they are fully aware of how much you're offering, what the purchase price is, because they want to make sure that the purchase price matches the value. The bank is not going to lend you money unless their asset is covered fully. They're not going to lend you $200,000 if the house is only worth $150,000, because newsflash, if you have a mortgage, you don't actually own your house, the bank does. So the bank wants to make sure that if you were to default on the loan, that they can recoup the money because the value's there. This situation has been happening more frequently lately because it's a strong seller's market, and when houses are getting multiple offers, the buyers are bidding up the purchase price, and we're running into situations where the house is not worth the amount that people are paying for it. So when this happens, there are two options. You can either work with the appraiser or you can work with the sellers. If you go the route of working with the appraiser, the real estate agents will work together and kind of try to prove to the appraiser why the house is worth the purchase price. Whenever real estate agents go to list houses, we do something very similar to what an appraiser does, although the appraiser has advanced training and a different license when it comes to evaluating a property. But we do something similar where we look for past sales of houses within the past year, and we'll look for a certain mile radius in a certain neighborhood, a certain area, in order to determine how much we're going to list this house for. Real estate agents can use their knowledge and their expertise and have a conversation with the appraiser and say, these are the numbers and the comparables that I'm coming up with. What are you seeing? In order to see if the purchase price can somehow match the appraisal price at all. Having a conversation with the appraiser recently worked for me. I had listed a house at $290,000, and the appraiser came back to me and said, Amy, I think this house is only worth $280,000. These are the numbers that I'm seeing. These are the comparable properties in the past sales for $280,000. Show me how you're listing this house at $290,000. I don't see it. So we had a back and forth conversation. I was able to get the house to appraise for $290,000 because I showed him all of my data and how I figured it out. And he agreed that it was worth $290,000. So that does work, having a conversation with the appraiser. Another thing you can do is have a conversation with the sellers and see if they'll renegotiate the price. Now, if you go this route, you do disclose to the sellers how much the home is appraising for. Normally, the sellers don't find out what the home appraises for because the appraisal is purchased by the buyers. That's the buyer's business. So you would have to disclose what the appraisal came back at. But if you're a buyer and you're buying the house for $300,000 and it's only appraising for $290,000, see if the sellers will renegotiate. Otherwise, you're overpaying by $10,000. So see if they'll drop the price to the appraisal price. If the sellers aren't willing to drop the price to the appraisal price and there's still a $10,000 difference, the buyers can make up the difference. So the bank will still only lend a portion of the $290,000 appraisal price. But if the buyers really want the house, they can make up the difference by bringing an extra $10,000 in cash to closing. So I hope you found that video informative and useful. If so, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.